Okay, Scott Trebatoski, Trebatoski, and I'm Director of Pet Resources.
All right, and say your last name one more time.
Trebatoski.
Trebatoski, all right.
Yeah.
Scott, you guys had a lot of dogs come in the past month here. Now they're getting washed and all that. We talked a little bit with the veterinarian regarding the legal process and everything. What's happening with that right now?
So within the next couple of days, we should know for sure whether an appeal is being filed or not. If no appeal is being filed, then they will become full custody of the county, and then we can, do a few more things while they're kind of in the limbo. We're doing as much as we can, but there's legal issues that would allow us eventually to seek out some additional help, get some additional people in there, because right now they're still being treated as evidence, so it's been a little bit more restricted. Once we know that's passed, we can get volunteers and things to also help us.
Who are the owners of these pets and what's happening to them right now?
So the owner of all the pets was Robert Royers, and he's been enjoined. That's one of the things that's open to a possible appeal, as well as the custody. So right now we're waiting to hear on the final as to whether that's being appealed or not. But as it stands, he can't own any animals, he can't possess any animals. So right now we're fairly confident that the two main players, the manager out there and the owner of the pets, are not allowed to have any more pets. But that doesn't always mean that there won't be some new players entering the fold.
Criminal charges at this point, or?
They're still being developed, and then that'll be filed with the state attorney, and they'll make the ultimate decision. But we're wanting to make sure we have all of the medical records and everything, so we didn't want to rush into filing when, in fact, the medical might add additional charges to it.
Yeah. What does this do to Hillsborough County to have a person like this or a shop like this that's doing this kind of things to animals here amongst us?
This has been a real challenge because this isn't just something that happened now. This has been ongoing for some time, so it's been quite a challenge, a lot of manpower. Right now, of course, we're overwhelmed bringing this many dogs in. It doubled our amount of dogs. We've been very fortunate to have groups like Red Rover and SARC that come in with trained volunteers that are used to working criminal cases, or I don't think we would have been able to handle this on our own. I would say it'll probably be within the next 30 days, but like I say, we're trying to develop all of the potential options, so we got enough initial information, but now as we're doing more complete medical exams, we originally thought only 4 or 5 dogs needed medical care. Now we're seeing that depending on what level of medical care, it could be as many as 100 of these dogs that need some ongoing medical care. So now that sort of changes the dynamics substantially as far as potential charges go.
And that day, how many dogs were picked up?
351 alive and 1 dead.
Any other animals or all just dogs?
All dogs. And since then we've had about 20 or so born here, so yeah.
Cool. Scott, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
So they've never seen the outside before?
So if they've seen the outside, it's been on concrete. So this is the first time really out in the yard, some grass and some playtime.
Why is it so essential to begin this process now before maybe someone has the opportunity to adopt? What integration or purpose does this serve for today?
So we've had only short time with the dogs, but I think it is important for socialization that they start getting used to some of these things that they're going to experience in a home with the doctors.
And how bad did it get? How bad were these dogs?
Their living conditions were quite bad, very dirty, overcrowding. They've never really known toys or a lot of human interaction either, so we are trying to get them used to some of those things.
What about the bathing? What condition were they in? And I know one of your associates in there was like, they're dirty. And some of them smell.
Yeah, so as part of being in overcrowded conditions, they're exposed to their own urine and feces all the time. So a lot of these dogs have very stained hair coats. They're kind of overgrown. A lot of these dogs are poodles, so They would require regular grooming, which they weren't getting. So a lot of these dogs will need to be kind of shaved down and kind of start over with their hair.
Is this the first time they're getting this grooming and washing since like 3 weeks ago when this all happened?
Some have been shaved down, the ones that are more severely matted, but it has been a lot of work just taking care of their basic needs like housing and feeding. So this is the first time that we've really started to bathe them all. There was also concern for infectious diseases, so we were keeping all of them kind of in their little separate groups. So this is the first time where, they've been with us for a while now. We're not as concerned about disease spread, so they can all use the same tub.
What's this do? I mean, these dogs in there are wagging their tails with happiness.
Yeah.
What's it do for their psyche to have this kind of treatment?
I think a lot of the dogs are very happy. So a lot of them are quite friendly. They love, they'll come over to you and jump on you, wag their tails. So they love just being held and being petted, and they don't mind the water so much.
What does that say about a dog that can go through the conditions they've been in and still be like this?
I think the dogs are quite resilient. So I think eventually, after some socialization and some TLC, they'll make really great pets overall.
What is the worst of the worst that you've seen from these dogs, condition-wise, since we?
Yeah. So a lot of them have, especially the older ones, have more chronic conditions. They have dry eye disease, they have severe dental disease, they have some problems with their knees. And then there were a couple that were in more severe condition. We had one that had to go and see a specialist because his jaw was fractured. So that's been like one of the more severe cases.
And then how long will it take to acclimate them for those that haven't even been outside really?
I think the puppies are going to acclimate extremely quickly. They're new and fresh, and they're in this great socialization period where they can just adapt really quickly. I think some of the adults are going to take longer. They're going to need to be housebroken. They're going to need to get used to just walking on a leash, just basic dog things like that.
And then a lot of our viewers have asked the question of when
Yeah.
these dogs can be adopted. How far along are they right now in that process?
We're still on a holding pattern with the court order, so it's kind of just up in the air. Obviously, the quicker we get custody, the quicker we can get them ready for adoption and release them for adoption. Yeah.
And did you spell your name as well at the beginning?
Yes.
Did you give your title?
Yes, it's Chief Veterinarian. My first name is Mallory, Mallory. Last name Offner, Offner.